And it's morning. How about that? It's Sunday morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Pardon me for being a couple of minutes late. That seems to be my trend lately on Sunday mornings. If you look at my face, I don't feel fully awake yet, although I've been up for probably a half an hour. So just trying to get my act together, get my brain on. And it was a long day yesterday and a long day the day before. And you know me, I wake up at 4 in the morning usually, and I'm ready to go and I'm running. But the last couple of days, I've been slow. And so pardon me for not being all set up and not with you this morning yet in mental state, but it'll come. It'll come. The cobwebs will fall away. So good morning, everybody. Teresa and Matt Finn, Audrey, good to see you. And I saw Twisted up there somewhere. Field Guy, good to see you. Susie Q, nice to see you this morning. And Sean Bowden, how you doing? Mike Yehudi, coffee, good. Yes, coffee is good, definitely. So one of those fun days yesterday. You know, we did the live remote for the Situation Room over at the Depot in downtown Hastings, Minnesota. And that's just a little town about 10, 12 miles south of the outer boundaries of the Minneapolis-St. Paul Circle. And so it's a little historic river town. And so we went down there, and but it was a heck of a day. So from my house, it's about how far a drive is that? Maybe 40 miles from my house. And so we started out yesterday. Rainey, my wife, is a massage therapist, and she had 3 massages she had to do yesterday. And the last one was at a different hotel way down by Hastings. It was literally 5-minute drive from where we were going to have the event last night. And we've got one car in the shop. And so we're down to one vehicle at the moment. And we needed to have a sitter for the kids for the event last night. So her mom agreed to do it, but we had to drive the kids to her mom's, which is 35 miles the opposite direction. So this is the way the day went. Rainey took off and did her first 2 massages. She rushed back home. We had about a 10-minute window to get everybody in the car and take her down and drop her off for her final massage, during which I would drive from there about 45 minutes north to drop the kids off at grandma's. And of course, there were a couple of things that weren't ready, and so we dropped her off. I drove all the way north, dropped the kids off. I had to drive all the way back and pick her up. Then we got 5 minutes to go to the event, and by this time it's 4:30 in the afternoon, so we would have been a half an hour early for when we were all gathering. But no, we had to go back home, so we had to drive all the way back home, 45 minutes home, and then 45 minutes back to the event. And then after the event at 9 o'clock last night, we had to drive all the way back up, 45 minutes to her mom's to get the kids. And then we picked up the kids and drove all the way home from there. And so I think I put about 800 miles on the car yesterday. So spend most of the time driving. So not that that's fascinating radio or fascinating talk, but you ever have those days and you say one little wrench in the gears that would have been about a 10-minute fix caused us to add the extra 2 legs on the trip yesterday. And so spent a lot of time driving yesterday. Didn't do a lot of drinking last night, in case you're wondering. I had about a half a beer last night. And we had Motherella with us, who was doing spot readings. And we had about, God, what was it? About, had to be 25 to 30 people who were asking questions. They fill out a piece of paper and ask questions. And she did a fantastic job. If you caught the live stream on that last night, it was over on Rockies. So we did have a good time. Yeah, Leslie, that was a road trip, all right. It was a road trip day. So, but by the time you come dragging in here at about 1 a.m. with the 3 kids, at that point, then we got to mother-in-law's last night to get the kids, and it's late. It's 10:30, 11 o'clock, and so I'm sitting in the car, and I left the car running, really hot and humid. Leslie, you know, you live here. Really hot and humid up here in the summers. As I've always said, when I talk about Minnesota, Wisconsin weather, it's not frozen tundra year round. It's about half the year is frozen tundra, and the other half it's subtropical. And you don't even want to be outside. It's so oppressive sometimes with the humidity. You walk outside, it could be like yesterday. It wasn't super hot. It was like in the mid 80s. But you walk outside and you just start sweating because of the humidity. And so we're in the family minivan, which also, by the way, the added wrinkle to all of this is the air conditioning charge went out. We got to get it charged up. Could we do that yesterday? No, there was no time to do that. So we're riding all day in the hot, steamy van as well. So anyway, there you go. Yeah, 100 heat index there for Teresa. Outside parties in this, Leslie. Yeah, people go, let's have an outside party. And it's, 100-degree heat index, and you're swathed in humidity, so you're just sweat all the time. Your body just sweats because it's in the air. And so so how's the heat in your neck of the woods, and how was your day yesterday, and how's your weekend been so far? Yeah, the event was fun yesterday. We could not go back to Rockies last night with everybody else. We were having a little get together there, and we just had to drive back and get the kids. So that's an hour and a half round trip just doing that after the event. And so they didn't want to stay there overnight. Grandma wasn't prepped to keep them overnight. And so it was just up and back. So that was our day. Humidity is my least favorite thing. I got to tell you, if I ever retire and move somewhere else, it's not going to be a place where it's humid. But they do say you acclimate to it. Like, let's say you want to move to, I don't know, Key West or Key Largo or some godforsaken, hot, humid place on the ocean. I would think that if you're retired and you don't have to wear a suit and tie, or you don't have to whatever, you acclimate. I suppose you put on your flip-flops and your shorts and your tank top, whatever you're wearing, and you just, that's all you wear. I know when I was down in Honduras, my grandfather had an island down there where he bought a huge piece of land. I've talked about that before. But he, I was down there for 2 weeks and just wearing a pair of shorts the whole time. And that's it. And you acclimate. So I was acclimated. White sand beaches, turquoise water, and a pair of shorts for 2 weeks. It was kind of nice. So that's all I got going. I feel the coffee is already starting to kick in a little bit, so that's good. Wake up my face. And anyway, I woke up, an hour early this morning and laid there and thought, and then I woke up again another half an hour later. So then I come downstairs and stupid fat cat wants to be fed. He starts, that's the thing with my cat. When I walk downstairs from upstairs, well, obviously that's where I'm coming from. If I'm coming downstairs, he just attacks. He's like, feed me. Fatso over there. That's all he lives for anymore. He's just an old cat, and he's huge. No matter, I've had him on have I mentioned before? He's been on a controlled diet to help him lose weight, and he's still like this big, and just sits there and meows at me. I come in and I start feeding. He's banging his head on the cabinet in the bathroom, where I'm making his food up, and the downstairs bathroom is kind of his territory. Banging his head, round. He's purring and he's meowing and he's banging his head because he knows I'm feeding him. So, boom, boom, boom. Anyway, yeah, Leslie, just about driving in my sleep yesterday. I was good. Rainey and I were sharp, and we were talking, and I chose to drive yesterday. Sometimes she drives, sometimes I drive, and so we just kept the conversation lively. And Motherella was very spot on yesterday, as usual, and I liked what she had to say. And so that was a good event, and I think it was good for people who were there. And oh, my shirt. What's my shirt say? Twisted. It says, "I find your argument highly illogical." So that's my shirt. I find your argument highly illogical. So I like the 187 fucks she said. Yeah. She's pretty raw when she does her readings. So, and I think it's just natural for her. It's just the natural way she talks, and it comes out that way. And she described her gift as it's like it's always on, and she channels information. I mean, she doesn't go and fall into channeling and do the crappie flop on the floor or anything. It's just there. It just turns on, and spirit talks to her. So it was very interesting stuff. And I hope I haven't missed saying good morning to anybody. I see more people in here, and just want you to know you're welcome, and thanks for being here. And we're doing just kind of some rising action here right now, as opposed to anything substantive yet. And I wish my face would wake up. My face hasn't woken up for a year. And I just feel like I always look like I'm sleeping. So I have very rare moments where it seems that my face wakes up. Maybe that's part of getting older. And thanks, Matt. The face. And so this morning, as usual on Sunday, I don't have anything super honed in on that I want to talk about this morning. It's just getting together to talk. It'd be nice if I could take, calls, but I can't. I'm not set up to do that. So we can talk. If you got things to say over there, I try to catch it and we try to talk about it. And Darth did a reading with Motherella in the beginning of July. How'd that go, Darth? Tell us a little bit about it. Yeah, ain't that the truth, Leslie? The older I get, the longer it takes my face to wake up. So, yeah, what face? And yesterday, I thought there was an interesting political, non-political comments that she made yesterday. And as she said, when she gets her information, if it's about a political thing, she doesn't get a political answer. She says spirit is not political. And but she can talk about political things from a spiritual point of view, or the information she's given. And I thought she said some very interesting things about the president and the election. We had yesterday in the at the event yesterday, we had some good friends, Don Newen and Donna Fiducia. They're a couple that Don's got a radio show over on Mojo 50, where the Situation Room is, and very much into the political game. It's a businessman from Georgia, and his wife, Donna Fiducia. Now, you may recognize the name. You may even know who I'm talking about. She used to be an anchor on Fox News. We're talking way back. We're talking 15 plus years ago. And she's done other things since then, but they do Cowboy Logic together, she and Don. That's their radio show now. And she was there last night, and he was there, and she's kind of it was kind of fun seeing her because I used to watch her on the news all the time a long time ago. And she asked a question. I think it was either her or it was Don, her husband. They asked a question about the elections. It's typical. If you've got a psychic, then a psychic medium, somebody connected to spirit, you want to ask them, if you're predicting things, what's your prediction on the election? And Motherella gave, now, I don't know if you guys saw this yesterday, but she gave, and you can go, by the way, you can go watch the repeat of that. I think it's on Rocky Stucci media page on Facebook, or he might have it on YouTube. She said, I want you to know, first, when it comes to something political, spirit doesn't give me political answers. It gives me answers about life, humanity, and so on. They're apolitical, meaning it's not going to be rightist or leftist or centrist. It's going to be an answer. And she said it was very interesting that she said Trump is definitely going to win the election again, is what the information she's given. She said, but it's not because of politics. It's because he is the right person to be there. Whether you like him, whether you like his style, whether you dislike him or dislike anything about him, whether you are Republican or Democrat or communist or anything in between, it's, according to spirit, according to her, he is the right person to be doing what's supposed to be done, without politics attached to it. Yeah, we need him, and he loves the country. He does. And the only arguments against him loving the country are from those who hate him. So, yeah, I hope it's true too, Matt. Now, even Donna Fiducia, very finger on the pulse of politics, said 2 months ago, if you'd asked her if she thought Trump was going to win, she just said, hands down. And she said, today, she said, I'm not as sure. It's because of all the stuff that's been going on. Look at the way social issues are going right now. And you could see a lot of change in the wind, which is, and not necessarily good change for the country, but good for the moment for people who don't think beyond the moment. And so it could be an interesting, tough haul. And I got to tell you, if it's a close election, there's going to be, and Trump wins, you can imagine what the reaction's going to be. Somebody in our little group, as we were talking last night, said, imagine what November 4th is going to be like, the day after the election. What if Trump wins? What do you think the reaction will be from certain elements within our society? Will there be burning and pillaging and basically things that they like to describe as revolution? If Trump gets in, more than half the country is going to want him there. That's for sure. So you're going to have half the country or a third of the country rebelling against that. So it'll be an interesting election, to say the least. The last thing we need is the kind of agenda that Joe Biden is putting forward right now, which is, did you notice Joe Biden? So confident, he's already putting together his cabinet. So is there truth to things working behind the scenes? Probably. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. So we'll watch it. And no matter what happens, we'll still be here. And we'll still have to figure out. But I can guarantee you, if Trump does not win the election, the political mindset that's affecting us socially right now, there's going to be a lot of change in this country if they get their way. Now, the only thing I would love to see is, if Joe Biden got elected, I would hope that people were smart enough to also put checks and balances into the Congress and make the Congress balanced against the agenda that's being put forward by the Biden campaign. So that will be very interesting. Imagine the agenda that Joe Biden has proposed, which, and I'm not saying this out of nastiness, I'm just saying, um, in the state of mind he is in, I don't really even think that's his agenda. And if you look at the agendas that are being put forward, the platforms he's got, he's totally adopted Bernie Sanders' platform. He's totally adopted the Green Deal. Everything about his agenda right now is the agenda that are things that are very damaging for us. And you have to ask your question, why are we even proposing? Why is anybody in the United States proposing those things then? Why is that stuff being put forward as things that should be good for our country? These are coming from people who want to fundamentally change the philosophical direction of our constitutionally limited republic. And that's where it becomes a problem. If this type of agenda is allowed to go forward, you're going to see a dramatically different America. And it's an America that not is better for the people. It's one that is going to will probably soon be bankrupt and have an agenda that tightens down on your freedoms and your liberties. You look at things as simple as the mask issue. Look at the mask issue. If the agenda that Biden puts forward, there would be mandates for things like that. Look at how swiftly this country was shut down over the coronavirus, over race riots. Look at how fast we changed. Now, is wearing a mask good for you? Maybe. But you have a lot of experts on one side saying it's good and a lot of experts on the other side saying it's bad or that it does nothing. And when you have that much controversy over something, I've heard the argument say, well, I wear my mask to make sure that people know I care about them, that I don't spread anything. Well, you're not going to not spread anything by wearing a mask is the fact of it. But I'm going to make people feel better by wearing one. So it's coming down to, we want to mandate something or make it so socially unacceptable that you don't wear a mask that it becomes nearly non-legislated law. And it's all done for symbolism over substance. There is no substance for wearing a mask. But the symbolism is that it's going to protect you. So are we going to have a society that from now on wears a mask? So here are the big questions that we have. And why would we want to mandate something that is more symbolic than it is substantive? You look at the things that are happening, watch things closely. And so I don't like talking about masks and coronavirus and all that bullshit. I get tired of it. But I'm only mentioning it because I think these are the kinds of things in small ways, even though the mask is a small thing, it's a big thing that's going on in the country right now over a small issue that has no substance to it. And yet they're trying to mandate that. They're trying to mandate lockdowns. They want the country locked down. They don't want people going back to work. They want the government paying you, giving you, what is it? Everybody for a little $2,400 check. $1,200 per person in a couple. That $2,400 check was supposed to be the salve for the masses. Everybody is satisfied now. You get a little shot in the arm from the government. Now people are pushing for, well, let's make sure there's no rent. Nobody has to pay rent or mortgage. And we put a freeze on that while the country's shut down. So in essence, nobody makes any money. The government supports you. The government keeps everything rolling. And so the government becomes mommy and daddy. And this, when you look beneath the surface, does nothing to prevent a virus from spreading. It does nothing that it's purported to do as the goodness on its surface. It is all a thing to. This is where the insidiousness comes in. It's putting control over the people of the country. And that's a philosophy I don't think we can live with. And this is just talking about a mask and a virus that kills less people than the common flu does every year. So, and again, there's all kinds of controversy over that, and everybody argues over that. That's just on the virus thing. Take that and push that aside. Look at all the other issues that are going on. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is not a movement to help black people. It's a political movement to change the fundamental direction of our country. So all of these things going on. I'm talking too much politics for a Sunday morning, and I'm trying to avoid getting deep into it. But you start looking, folks, as you go out and plan on who you're voting for, you have to look at what direction it's going to take the country. And I'm almost fearful that there is a whole mindset of younger people that don't get this. And they're going to go out and mindlessly vote. Well, I think that you need anybody who's 30 and up needs to get out there and vote. You need to be attached to what's going on. People say, well, the presidential election doesn't mean anything, so I'm not voting anyway. It means a lot. It means symbolically this is where the country is headed, if nothing else. So there you go. And it's so convoluted to talk about it. I don't even like talking about it. Why does it have to be a mandate, says Morgan Snow, to everybody? We are children who need to be told what to do. We're not able to decide for ourselves. My body, my choice. Well, that's it. Well, you know what the justification is for that? The whole abortion issue is my body, my choice. The whole mask issue is, no, it's not your body because you're breathing your germs on everybody else. And so they find ways to justify. Everything has to have its justification. And I don't even know that this is the left as much as there is some movement afoot that's not really the left in this country, but the left has attached to it. It's far deeper than that. This is, and you can't say it's this guy sitting over here in his mansion somewhere with a couple of other guys trying to run the world. Maybe it is that a little bit. But no, I think it's an overall, there's a mindset that is going on that is, and I've said this before too, it's like the advent of social media. We got our cell phones, our handheld devices, everything, especially to the younger people coming up now, everything is by the moment. You can change things by the moment. Oh, I got to change the color of my background in my social media. Boom, you change it. Everything is instantaneous. What do you think that has done for the way that same generation starts to think about government and let's just change it. We don't like that anymore. Let's change that. Why do you think the founders made it so difficult to amend the Constitution? It's got to be ratified by 2/3 in Congress. Then it's got to be ratified by 3/4 of the states. I believe it is either 2/3 or 3/4 of the states have to vote on any change to amend the Constitution. Then it goes back to Congress for a vote. It's a lengthy, long, arduous process made to be so the Constitution cannot be changed on a whim. And then there's that whole mindset, a lot of them, the people who are in the younger generation, they're like, well, why don't we just rewrite our Constitution? So, times have changed. Let's rewrite it. And I'm a constitutionalist, so this is the things that are hitting us. Now, it's like Ben Franklin said in his day, you have a republic, madam, if you can keep it. And so let's see what goes on. I think we're already seeing things slip away. And your president buys you pizza, Field Guy says. Yeah, my president buys me pizza, so we're good. And they are working on another stimulus package. They're supposed to be, I think, by the end of July or August. They're saying there's supposed to be another. It's like a $5,000 shot in the arm for Americans. Where are we getting that money? We're not producing it right now. Portland called for the abolishment of the USA. Yeah, you know what I think? I think the United States Army should go in there and squash them. See ya. Oh, how unjust. You know, we used to hang traitors in this country. So I'm not saying I'm for that and I'm pushing for death penalties for saying you hate your country. But if you want to abolish the country, why don't you just go somewhere else? No, because they want to change fundamentally what we have. This is what the fight is going to be, starting with this election in November. So I can guarantee you one thing. If Trump wins, you're going to see a lot more of this kind of stuff. You're going to see riots. You're going to see burning. You're going to see all kinds of stuff. But Trump is also the person who can fix it. Not single-handedly, but if you see him lose, you're going to see it starting to be implemented already. So it's going to be a very interesting election. We live in interesting times. And one thing we've got to keep in mind is that why are we any different than any other civilization down through history? We have different technology, yeah. Spread of information is different, yes. But why should we be different than every other civilization which has come and gone? Is it time? Oh, it's time. And all these kids nowadays, I say kids, it makes me sound like a really old fogey, but this generation, they want something new now. Oh, this is old. I need a new background on my phone. Oh, and I need a new country too. We got to change this. We don't like this. There's been injustices in our past, so we must abolish who we are. We must wipe out our history because eradicating history is the way to implement good change. So now this stuff, folks, I don't feel is political at all. This is who we are as a people. This is about us. And which is frankly a little disturbing that we're at this point. And so you've got people who either want to preserve the union or people who want to dissolve it. Which side of that do you come on? And what is better for ourselves and for the world? Do we capitalize on the things we've done that were wrong or mistakes, or do we capitalize on the country that everybody in the world is trying to get to? So that's something that is bothersome to me. Now, could I go into a study on biblical prophecy, spiritual eschatology, and say, look at how well everything is aligning with what biblical eschatology said was going to happen, biblical prophecy for the end of the world, for the and it wasn't just the end of the world. Keep in mind, if you're looking at Christian theology and eschatology, the prophecy was all about the coming kingdom of God in a biblical framework. and that kingdom of God is going to be predicated by certain disastrous things to humanity, troubles to humanity. It talks about, and it was all, by the way, in the biblical theology. The end times is all, we always talk about the end of the world and Armageddon. We forget theologically it was all wrapped around the nation of Israel in a biblical sense, that it was all Israel, and that the end times was going to be ushered in around political events taking place to Israel. Christianity was like a parenthetical. Well, good morning. Did you wake up? Hi. Christianity was like a parenthetical put into the calendar. Here's my little one.
Can I play on your phone?
There's no battery. It's only got 4% battery. This is the one that just woke up. Are you the first one awake? Everybody's still sleeping. So say good morning to everybody. See everybody over here? Everybody's talking. So.
Bubbles.
No. That's all you're going to say. You got to go out in the other room.
But Lucy's awake too.
Okay. You can let her outside.
Lucy's not downstairs.
Okay. Then don't go get her. Leave her until she comes down. All right. So that was the little one. That was Ellery. So this whole thing about the end times, are we seeing, those of you familiar with it at all, are we seeing events that are lining up to biblical prophecy? And by the way, it's not just biblical prophecy. There are other prophecies and other religions and other spiritualities of end times types of events. Are we seeing this converge? Is this something, are we living in this time? I remember back in the early 1970s when I was a kid in middle school youth group at the church, and they would talk about this looking like the end times. Remember, even back in the early 70s, we still only had 4 channels on our television, barely into color television. There were no cell phones. There was no mass communication the way, well, we thought we had it, but not like we have it now. And I remember our youth pastor saying, everything looks set right now for the end of time to come, for the rapture, for the great tribulation, as the Bible called it, for the coming kingdom of God, the battle of Armageddon. And he said, but God could always reshuffle the deck, was what he told us. He said it might look like that now, but he says God could reshuffle the deck. We don't know what's going to happen. Now, that was in the 70s. Here we are 45 years later after I was hearing that stuff being taught, almost 50 years later, for a solid 45 years, and we're seeing events unfold the way they're unfolding now. I remember in eschatology, it talked about how there would be the 2 prophets who stood up for God, and the whole world would see them executed, beheaded. And so was this symbolic language, or was it specific? There were going to be 2 prophets, or did this mean something different? But in the end times, the point that I'm going to make with this, though, is what we focused on was the end times where the whole world would see them executed and beheaded. Do you think that can happen now? I'm live streaming this event now, and anybody who wants to watch it can pick it up. We've got people in Australia watching this, people in England watching this, in Scotland and Africa, and all over America. Do you think if my audience was large enough that the whole world, figuratively speaking, could be seeing this broadcast right now, this moment? What if it was a huge political event that was changing the world, and everybody tuned it in on their televisions via satellite, and everybody saw it on their handheld devices? You could grab this device, and all of a sudden, what do you got? You got the whole world right at the tip of your fingers, right here. And you could be watching it on your cell phone while you're out having a smoke behind the garage, or while you're having coffee at the coffee shop. If, by the way, you're wearing a mask and you've been vaccinated and you have a chip implanted, which could be the next thing mandated. Otherwise, you cannot do business because you do not have the mask. You do not have the vaccination. You don't have the. Do you know where that ties in? It talks about in the prophecies that in the end times, it would be a time where if you did not have the mark of the beast, it called it, which was a prophetic, a representative kind of the machine, of the thing that's in charge. If you did not have the mark of the beast, you could not buy or sell, and you were outcasts. Mm-hmm. What happens if it becomes something where you cannot buy or sell, you cannot enter a store, you cannot, unless you've got your card or your scanned chip telling you that you've been implanted with your chip and you've gotten your vaccination. And if you don't have that, you can't buy or sell. So you tell me again, you don't think this virus is something being used by people who would like to control humanity? It is. So you look at all of this stuff and you can say, I can look at it, I can talk about 666, the beast, the Antichrist, the Great Tribulation, the rapture, all of these things. You can start talking about those things. And it sounds strange for us to want to put those connotations on it. Because to do that, if we use that language, we would have to be saying, well, then that set of beliefs is what must be true. Except a lot of those beliefs are pan-cultural in different aspects. So what happens when you start to see the world do these things? It used to be the closest thing we'd have to saying we believe that we live in the end times was, well, Adolf Hitler, obviously the Antichrist, they said in the 40s. Well, you know what? He died. Ronald Reagan is the Antichrist, or Bill Clinton, or whoever. All through our history, our recent history, we see this happening all the time. And yet, if it was biblical eschatology and prophecy, the Antichrist is somebody, and it's just a label they're putting on somebody. He's not going to come out and go, T-shirts, Antichrist. Well, then again, he may. I don't know. You see a lot of glorification of, for fun and tongue-in-cheek of biblical prophecy. 333, I saw a shirt. I'm only half evil. But the Antichrist is somebody that is labeled that in prophetic terms. He was somebody who was not necessarily against the Christ, but he was somebody who his whole nature of being was the opposite of what he was supposedly the Christ was supposed to be. He might even be a good man, not evil with his red glowing eyes in the shadows when you're not looking. But it says the Antichrist will be, this person is going to be somebody who's charismatic enough that he becomes the leader of the world. Now, does that mean he's the king and the whole world is one nation? No, not necessarily. It could just mean the whole world looks to this person as being the person who has the ability to lead us out of the mess. And that's who the Antichrist is going to be. He's going to be somebody who leads us out of this mess. And the world is like, I don't know, maybe it's Greta Thunberg. Oh, got you on that one, didn't I? But how far-fetched is that? So it's going to be somebody that the world respects, somebody that the world finds charming. The Antichrist isn't going to be evil with his horns sprouting and issuing hellacious vindictives or edicts from his lair. He's going to be charismatic, probably good looking, probably somebody the whole world goes, swoon. This is the guy. This is our savior. Embodied in, Matt Finn says, I'm not sure it's just one person. It could be embodied in a person. It could be embodied in a group of people. These are our saviors. And according to biblical prophecy, he rises to power. There's a 7-year tribulation it talks about. If it's a literal 7 years, could those years be like we've seen in Old Testament prophecies? years equaling centuries or years equaling decades. Don't know for sure. But I remember when I was learning this stuff back in my seminary days, the years were supposed to be literal years, 7 years of tribulation, the first 3.5 of which is the rise to power of the Antichrist, the one the biblical prophecy labels as the Antichrist. And one of the things he does is, and this is an earmark too, but you know you're in the thick of it. It says the Antichrist allows the temple to be rebuilt in Jerusalem. Remember, it was all in biblical prophecy founded around the Jewish nation, Jewish religion, the Israelite nation. So they allow the temple to be rebuilt in Jerusalem. There's only one place that the temple can exist, according to the Jews, and that is on the Temple Mount, which we talked about on the radio show for several episodes. What's on the Temple Mount? The Mosque of Omar, and it's been there for like 1,300 years. So you find a world leader that's going to charismatically allow the temple to be built in place of the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem, and you're going to see the person that is the Antichrist that the Bible speaks about, the prophecies speak about. Speaking of Michelle Obama, I just saw her. My kids were watching a kids show, a Nickelodeon show that they sit sometimes and they binge watch. And yesterday morning, before we got all taken off for the day yesterday, and I'm making breakfast, and Rainey is running off to do a couple of massages, and the kids are binge watching some Nickelodeon kids half-hour sitcom. And they had Michelle Obama on it. Now this was a sitcom from about 10 years ago. 8 to 10 years ago, something like that. So it's in the middle of, I think, Obama's first term, and the first lady was on this show as the first lady. And so, yeah, she seems like a really nice person. She's got a philosophy I disagree with, that's all. She's probably a nice enough person. The Abomination is Obama Nation with Michelle Obama. Michael Obama, says Susie Q. Maybe. We don't know. Maybe. And, yeah, Leslie, I'm about in the same place. You say you quit letting Amelia watch those kids' channels. They're running commercials and BS, which is nothing but indoctrination. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I don't even know what's good or bad anymore for my kids. Although, well, I say that tongue-in-cheek. You don't know where to start them out. Because you watch what they watch and go, whoa, that's what I'm letting you watch? I don't think so. So, no, Hillary will never get into office. Hillary's too elderly now. Hillary's passé. Even the left knows that. And so I'm not even concerned about Hillary. It's the Ocasio-Cortezes and people like that. So the old white guys, I'm sorry. Isn't it funny how the whole left is geared with the whole Black Lives Movement, Matter movement, and the whole women's movement, and all of these things that they're for, and yet they're running one of the oldest white guys in their ranks. I thought that was really ironic. We don't want Trump. He's an old white guy. Let's run Joe Biden. And what are they thinking? What are they thinking? I'm very serious. Now, this is my political talk a bit, but it's in an examination of how people think. The left is running Joe Biden as president, yet they're attempting to ignore the fact that he's not fit for office. And I don't say that out of any dislike or animosity towards Joe Biden. I've said this before. I rather liked Joe Biden, even though I was opposed to most of his political ideologies, because I thought he was a respectable man. Now, this is pre Joe, Creepy Joe, and all of that coming out. Down through the years, I always saw him as a respectable individual and a nice guy. Yet, I'm not opposed to Joe Biden on that basis. I don't say he's not fit for office out of my politics, out of my political rhetoric. I look at him and I say he's obviously slipping mentally. Why would we back anybody for president that we believe is starting to slip cognitively? That's a bad move. Unless your agenda is to run him with a vice president who within a year is going to take over, or when the situation gets bad enough. I don't know that Joe Biden is even aware of this. He seems happily ensconced in his basement and not very in tune with the facts. But look at the people he's lining up. Just last week, he came out and adopted Bernie Sanders' entire platform, which was communist. But he adopted the whole thing. Oh yeah, this is us now. I don't think he's thinking on his own. I think he's having his thinking done for him. And I think Joe Biden is right now, he will go down in history as the guy that the left ran to try to win the election, and they totally controlled him in his old age because he had nothing left to give. And I feel bad about that for Joe. So he'll be a mouthpiece, not a policymaker. And he's barely a mouthpiece now. I've seen some of his ads. When I watch like Joe Rogan, I like to listen to Joe Rogan. And every now and then ads pop up, and you got to watch at least the first 5 seconds of every ad on YouTube. And he comes on and says, I'm doing Joe Biden. And he, I'm exaggerating it a bit, but that's the way he sounded. He sounded like he was slurring. He didn't have that sharpness. And this was his campaign ad. And I thought, whoa, I'm watching that. That's like my grandpa with dementia running for office, being told what to say, reading a script, having a little bit of light left there so he's able to communicate. But so I fear for a country that would run somebody like this for president. That will tell you one of two things. They are blissfully unaware, which I don't buy, or they have a greater agenda behind the scenes, which I think is what is going on. You want to present a case for agendas, conspiracy theories that work behind the scenes? All you got to do is look at the Joe Biden campaign. And you've got a perfect running example of a conspiracy theory in the works. They aren't running Joe Biden. They're running their agenda. And Joe Biden, they're using him. I don't even know why they would. I would want to use somebody bright and sharp. Why not run as much as I disliked him, why not run a Cory Booker for president? And then do your agenda behind the scenes. Why did they choose Joe Biden for that job? Because they were hoping there were going to be enough older Americans to vote for him. So there's something very fishy askance. Folks, if you can't see it, you're not looking. When we say you need to be engaged in your country and in what goes on, stop just going to work or going to do your thing, or if you're not working, do the things that you do, whatever, and forget or watch your TV shows or take a trip or do whatever you're doing and not think about what's actually happening in your country, or you're going to lose it. Ask yourself a question like this. Let's say Joe Biden wins the presidency. What's going to happen to all those who voted for Trump? Do you think there's going to be any backlash? If you stood up and said, I'm pro-Trump and I'm going to vote for Trump because I believe that he'll do the job that needs doing, do you think you'll be targeted? Do you think that's going to scare people away from voting for him, or at least talking about it, or at least putting a sign in their yard? Here, I just got this. Let me show you something. This just came in the mail. Now, I fly out on my patio. I fly my United States flag. I don't have a flagpole in the yard. I know, Leslie, I know you've got a flagpole and some other people do, but I've got a big flag flying outside. But I just got this. And I'm trying to think of the best place to fly it because you can't fly it any higher than the flag. But so I got this flag came in. And let's see. There it is. There it is. There's my Trump 2020 flag. And so I'm going to put that up on a flagpole. Well, little pole. And I got to put a bracket up on one of the uprights of the patio. So I'm going to fly that. You know why? Not because I'm a mindless supporter of a political candidate, but because I'm a thinking supporter of a political candidate, and I don't give a shit if you don't like who I'm voting for. And so some people say, well, aren't you afraid that your family will be targeted or your house will be targeted? No, I'm not afraid of that. Is that a possibility? Yeah, probably, because those are the times we live in. If the people who are opposed to Trump are willing to, well, we saw a conservative candidate put their signs up down at the end of our street. At the end of our street is the entrance to we're not in a gated community. We're just in one of those townhome and houses. There are private residences called, I don't even know what we're called, something Meadows. Been here for 2 years and I don't know what it is off the top of my head. But the big stone marquee that says, you're entering such and such meadows, and there's little gardens around it and stuff. And it's the main highway out there. Not a freeway, it's a 1-lane highway. And but they put their signs out there, their political signs out at the end of the street. And the next day, Rainey saw it was gone, and she saw the same person's signs in other places vandalized. So we see a lot more of that. So there is no honest, free. We might be on different pages or opposing each other ideologically, but let's have a fair fight or a fair race. No, there's going to be people out there that want to destroy. That's the mode we are in right now. So, do you know why Biden's being run? It's anybody other than bad orange man in the office. So, that's their whole campaign. Ask people when you're in political discussions, just say, describe to me why you are voting for Joe Biden, only you cannot talk about Trump. Now, tell me why you're voting for Joe Biden. Watch the blank stare, the doe in the headlight, the smoke coming out of the ears because they can't think of anything. Why are you voting for Joe Biden, but you can't use the word Trump or talk about Trump at all? Tell us what positive reason you're voting for Joe Biden. So there you go. It's going to be pretty weak. You're absolutely right about that. So anyway, enough of that. That was too close to politics for a lot of people, so I'm not going to apologize, but I'm going to say I don't usually talk about politics. I tried not to make that as political as it became, but it is what it is. Wow, my kids knocked this over yesterday. It's broken now. It's totally broken. Doesn't stand up anymore. And I found it in here. I came in here and it's all crushed over, and all the hats are crushed underneath it. It's not that they don't pop back. I mean, it's a Penman. Well, I haven't talked about for a while, but you can take this, and you can scrunch that hat all up. This, folks, this is a $500 hat. You can do that, but the way it's built, that if you don't keep it stuck like that for a while, if you don't have to rebash everything, that thing will pop right back to its bashing. So, haven't worn this for a while. hangs on the. So boom, there you go. John Penman, Penman Hat Company, PenmanHats.com. This is my the more inexpensive one. This is his. You can see Everyman hats. This is the one where if you didn't want to spend $450 to $500 for that hat, which I damaged. That's why this one just hangs up here. I've told you this before. I used to put my hats on like this. See my hand? And I'd pinch it and I'd put it on. That's the wrong way to do it. And I wore a hole in it. This is the hat that went to Egypt with me. You're supposed to put a hat on like this, guys. And this one, it's like it's this one feels really tight on my head. See, I haven't really worn it for 3 years, but so that's how you put a hat on and off. Now, but this hat cost me $450 back in 2013. Now this one, it's the same style of hat. It's supposed to look like that's Bogart, the Humphrey Bogart replica of a Humphrey Bogart's hat from Casablanca. And this one's the kind of the Casablanca he has these all blocked out ahead of time. They come with just the dome and he bashes them into shape. And this one costs about, I think after tax and shipping, you're looking at about $300 for this one, $250 maybe for this, as opposed to $450 for that. And so while you might go, oh, that's the cheap version. Well, it's not a cheap version. It's still a very high quality hat. So you spend $250 for a hat. It's usually high quality. So I got that one, and oh, there's one missing. It's way over here. Hang on. This is also. This is from the hat stand being knocked over yesterday. Now, this is a Penman hat. This is not the Everyman hat. There's a logo in the top. But this is one that John Penman sent me. I like this. This was a whiskey color. It was called. And I've shown you these before, but just talking about it. And so this is one I like to wear this in the wintertime more. But it's a nice hat. We can wear it in the summer. It's hard to wear a lid like this when it's 100-degree heat index and high humidity. So sweat more. Anyway. But that's enough for hats. Yeah, none of these, by the way, I see Indy Jones. None of these are the Indiana Jones hat. I want to get one of those. There's a specific build to that hat that's very classic. This one was just he just called it a 5-point fedora. The points are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's something like this is a 4-point or a 5-point crown. 5-point. And this is a 4-point crown. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is, I believe this is the 5-point as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one up there, 4-point crown again. So the Indiana Jones hat doesn't have the points. It's got I don't remember what it's called, the dash, the crevice, as opposed to the points, creating a dome. And so I can't remember what that's called. Instead of this, if this were the Indiana Jones hat, it would be right down the middle, like that. And it doesn't have the dome in there with the points in the crown. So, but and the Indiana Jones hat has a taller crown from here to here, and so although these kind of look like them, like the hat, it's not the hat. So one of these days I'll pick up one of those, because I have to have one of the Indiana Jones hats. I just don't have $500 I want to put out on it today. But and I wouldn't get the cheaper model either. I would probably go all the way and get the beaver pelt Indiana Jones hat, and it's you can find them all over at Penman Hats, PENMAN hats.com. Wasn't really doing an advertisement for it, but that's my friend John Penman, and you can go over there and pick up your hats. But one of these days I'll get one of those. My wife would kill me if I spent money on a new hat today. So, and what else was I talking about? There you go, Audrey. Thank you. PenmanHats.com. Go over there and take a look at his stuff. You can find him on Facebook too. If you're on Facebook, look for the Penman Hat Company. The Penman Hat Company on Facebook, and you'll see a lot more pictures of his stuff. If you go over to Penman Hats, he's got a little thing down at the bottom of his main page, a picture slideshow, and it's basically John Ward and me in his hats from our days in Egypt and so on. So that was a lot of fun. Anyway, let's do a couple of readings because I'm right here. I'm standing up right now. I can't do this. Oh, here's my mask, by the way, for the places where I go where I have to wear one. Boom. There you go. I should go shopping like this. There you go. There. Feel safer around me now? Well, maybe the hat says I'm a classier bandit, but I could wear this and I could wear my headscarf. There you go. That's me in a mask. So there it is. I've got one because there's some place you can't go shopping unless you're wearing one. It's not the law, but they won't let you in. Mm-hmm. Well, see, if I want to do the shadow. Here you go. This is what we wore out the other day. This is my bandana that I wear over my head, when I do the pirate look. But I've also done this as the, here. When I've gone out in public and we needed to have masks, and I'm like, I don't have a mask. I'm not going to wear a mask. I can't breathe in a mask, by the way. I don't like them. But so I've just worn this, I'll put this on. And so I'll wear it like that. So now you put that baby on. You pull that up. And you wear your fedora with it. Boom. Now that's the look. If you're going to go out in a mask, there's the look for you. All I need is a couple of 6-shooters, too. That would make it work. Boom. Let's see. I was looking to see. Patch says, no, it's no law, but you can call bar and they can get fired for this bullshit. Yeah, isn't that the truth? Yeah, exactly. You can get fired for stating your political agenda, your political beliefs nowadays. So, anyway, there you go. That's that. Enough of that. Let's do some readings. Put that up there. All right. Who's first here today? Let's get some readings done. It's 10:13. Let's do a couple of readings. I'm going to open my office door, by the way. That's just so if Rainey comes down, she knows she can come in here. Move that out of the way. And what? Mommy's not coming in there, though. That's fine. That's fine. But the door's open. All right. So let's see. Darth will take one. Let's do Darth first.
Can I charge your phone and can I play on it?
The only way you can play on that is if you plug it in while you're playing on it.
Yeah, that's why I said charge it.
Yeah, that's why I said that. Oh, well, do you know where the plug-in is?
No.
See if it's out on the big white triangle plug-in thing. Hold on, folks. Or it could be plugged into the front by the front door. Or it's the blue one out there will work, I think. All right, folks, here we go. Mundane details for my kids. I don't know where it is, sweetheart. Hold on, folks. I got to help the child. Take a break. Okay, it's not plugged in there. There you go. Keep that plugged in. And turn that down, please. All right, folks, I'm back. You know what? While I'm in and out, I'm going to grab a new cup of coffee. Hang on tight. How's that for riveting radio? Yep, when everybody's up, we're making breakfast. All right, I'm back. Sorry that took a while. I was trying to make coffee for Rainy. This is our household. You know, she drinks caffeine free. We don't have any caffeine free coffee yet, so I couldn't make her any. But she's gluten free. I'm not. So you can see the conflict in our house. Coffee. All right, here we go. Darth, you are up. So let's do a reading for you. I'm 8 subscribers from 1K. That's right. I can start monetization, but of course, YouTube finds every way to not monetize you. You know, I was using my opening. If you recognize it or saw it on the show, I changed the openers because I subscribed to a service that gave you you could access all of their royalty-free music. And I did that several months ago, and then I've been using the music in my opening and in the middle section, and then I didn't resubscribe. I didn't re-up the next month, and so now they're starting. I find out I can't use their music without being subscribed for $40 a month. It's like I'm not paying $40 a month to use your music for my opener. So I went and found new copyright-free music. Now, I could pay a license, I suppose, an annual license and get these things, but I'm not a radio station. I don't need all that kind of music unless I want to start, you know, playing songs and stuff, regular songs. I could go buy a BMI license or something like that, which is not cheap. And so I'm using copyright-free music. So why did I bring that up? Oh, so more than half of my videos can't be monetized anyway. Because they've copyright tagged all of them. Any piece of music, it's like a Ghost Dance from Bill Miller when I was doing some of the Native American stuff a year ago. But I had all of my my old radio shows before I was on Odyssey. I used Ghost Dance, and now I got personal permission from the writer and the performer of that song, Bill Miller, to use that song. And I've got an old email stating so. He called me on the phone, I think, though, and gave me, yeah, go ahead and use it. And that was back in 2009, 2010. But every time I use that song now, the music company that now owns it gives me a copyright hit. So, and you can use it. Sure, use it all you want. You just can't monetize this video. That's the way they are with YouTube. And I'm like, I'm okay with them taking a share of whatever money comes in the door off of using their music. Go ahead and monetize it. Monetize it just means I get advertising dollars that come in off of my stuff. You'd have to see ads at the beginning of my videos. But I don't have a big problem with that. That'd be a couple bucks rolling in the door. And but they won't monetize certain things because I have copyright hits on those pieces. I'd have to replace half of my videos out of the 300 plus videos altogether that are on my channel. I'd have to replace at least half of them by taking out the music. So not doing it, but we'll see. Going from this spot forward, I could monetize certain things. I think they can't monetize songs, but they can monetize the channel. I'm not sure. And I'm not sure why it's taken this long to get up to 1,000 subscribers. So that's pretty ridiculous. When you see some people that have 45,000 subscribers or 50,000 subscribers, what are they doing differently that I'm not doing? And that's all a numbers game, of course. That's just numbers. You know, you don't want to, it's like when I was a pastor, if you had 2 people in the congregation, you sat down and talked about, you didn't preach a sermon. But so, you know, putting a church together, it's nice to have a congregation or an audience. And so it's the same way, the same kind of thinking. So, but yeah, you're right, Audrey. I'm 8 people away from being monetized. And I've been like 15 people away for 2 months. And then it goes up 2, down 2, up 1, down 3, up 3, down 1, you know. So that's the kind of thing that's going on. So there you go. All right, let's go for Darth. We've had enough of a build up to this. Here we go, Darth. Shuffle up the cards for you. And I think my face is almost woken up, as haggard as it looks. At least I feel slightly sharper than I did when I started. I'm standing so you get to see my ceiling today. The background. Gotta tilt the camera upward. All right, Darth, if you were here, I would have you cut this deck. And so I'm going to do that on your behalf. Here we go. All right, Darth, I'm just going to pull one card for you today. And here it is. You have the King of Swords. Now, if you remember, the King of the Sword, the kings and queens in the deck always represents specific people in our sphere of influence if it's not representing us personally. And so the King of Swords is going to be somebody that you either recognize or you're going to recognize these traits in yourself. The King, you're on top of the heap, first of all. The Swords is the suit of power and authority and conflict. You see, he's gripping the sword. He's got the power and the authority. But swords can also mean conflict, giving conflict, getting conflict. And this is the King of Swords represents this professional aspect of authority. It's associated with legal businesses, careers, heads of companies, and you would call them the not the mogul. That's not the word I'm looking for. The leaders of industry, and the people who are the bosses, the CEOs, the guys who make the thing work. Now you get all these arguments, today, just as an aside, it's on the backs of the workers. The CEOs are making huge. Well, you know what? Without the CEO, that company would not be in existence and nobody would have a job. So shut up. Anyway, that's what the King of Swords is. He's somebody who's successful at business. He's assertive. If he's not somebody in business in your sphere, or if it's you that's card's talking about, if it's not about business and such, you can be dominating. You can be assertive. You can be very confident. And I'm not talking egotistically. I'm talking you've got power in your words and power in who you are. And this person knows best how to aid you or you to aid others if you have these qualities. And they might be friendly, but this person, their motivation usually isn't emotional or passionate. Their motivation is something completely different, even though they might be friendly people. And this is all about strength coming from intellect. It looks ahead. It takes authority into account. And you're going to lead. This is what's going to lead you to turn your collection of good ideas into your reality. It's that ability to think deeper, to go a little deeper. This is kind of the intellectual awake card. You're awake. You know what the hell is going on around you. And this might be somebody who is in your sphere of influence. It's going to be, if it's not you, it's going to be somebody in your sphere of influence that you will recognize, a male figure who takes authority, helps you put your plans in motion. It's like a dad, a brother, an uncle, a grandfather, a boss, somebody that's got power and authority in and of their own self that helps you. Or it's you that's doing this for yourself. If there's any opposition to your ultimate goals, you can find it in this card. It's guile. It's superior intellect that leads you past the destructive barrier that's there. You're going to find fulfillment in organizing those around you as a leader. So, in a sense, this is you in saying that if you have found resistance to things, if you found somebody to be cheating or somebody to be lying or somebody to be opposing you and your forward movement, that kind of a thing, this is the card that says you have the ability to see past that, to move beyond that. This is almost like like that High Priestess card of the intuitive, uncovering the intuitive. This is the businessman, the thinker, the organizer that can see through and understand motivations and move beyond them. And so this guy is assertive, professional. He's a decision maker. He has high intellect and a knack for leadership. And he represents the big decisions that are coming in your life and that you need to take control of, that you need to set the boundaries for, you need to make the firm commitments on. And this isn't a card about having an answer that's a positive or a negative to anything. It's the answer of saying whatever you're facing right now, you have the ability as this king. And if you don't have this ability in yourself, you have somebody nearby you can look to help you with these decisions. But more than likely, this is you, because it's somebody that, it's a card that says you're the person that can see beyond that, can think beyond that. You can, I was going to say intuitive, but maybe a business sense on that intuitive nature. So, and by the way, I want to welcome Missy. I've got a new subscriber who just came in. Missy, welcome. I don't know if that was earlier today or just now, but it just popped up on my screen. So welcome if you're here right now. All right. So let's move on. Let's see. What do we got here? And so I hope that was helpful, Darth. I think this is a description of you and who you are and what you bring to the table, or what you should be able to see and hone for yourself. Is that this is what you need to be. And you know what? I'm going to make a note about this, and this will apply to you as well, to this card. Being assertive and being confident, it's not like, oh, I'm not that thing. Yeah, everybody is. It's whether or not you choose to incorporate it and practice it and make it happen. Everybody can choose to be a good decision maker. Everybody can choose to be somebody who takes the time to intellect their way through life. Now, intellect isn't, it's not always logical. I find your argument highly illogical, says Spock. But intellect needs to be put into play sometimes other than emotion. Emotion and passion are things that sometimes that makes you the person you are, but sometimes you got to set those over here to make the logical decision. No, so that's who this is, and that's what this card is about. So I hope that's helpful for you. Let's see. Where are we? Hey, thanks, Matt. Yeah, all my shirts. This one isn't my shirt, by the way. I bought that from a Star Trek thing. So, but we do have a bunch of shirts. I'm going to be coming out with a line of shirts off of some of the Native American stuff that we've been talking about coming up very soon. So stand by for those. And you can go to my Etsy shop, etsy.com/shop/son-of-a-patriot. So moving on. Who do we have? Barbara says, I don't understand how I could be signaled to correspond when asked. PM me on FB if you wish. I'm better with that. I'm not sure what you're referring to there, Barbara, but other than if you want to get a hold of Barbara, signal her on Facebook. Let's see. Darth, sounds similar to Motherella reading. Oh, good. There's some confirmation then. I see a lot of people saying Bosto this morning. What is it? Oh, be of service to others. There you go. And the frequency and so on. So Teresa, you're next. Let's shuffle up for Teresa. All right. And then Jared. All right, Teresa, here we go. Shuffle up for you. You know what? That card just fell out. And so I'm going to take that card without shuffling anymore. Because that's what we do. You have the Ace of Coins, Teresa. Now, the aces in this deck are all represented by angelic figures. And the aces are kind of like messengers of things that are coming, things that are going on in your life, new energy that's coming, and so on and so forth. The coins, of course, or pentacles, represent the more material aspects of your life. So Teresa, right now, for this card that just fell out of the deck, so I always take that as a sign to use that card. I've always kind of been that way. This is a new beginning card of sorts. It's a strongly positive one for you. Your life's about to enter a productive period, or at least a period that you're going to see your work, the work of your hands, your project work, maybe even things on a material level that are going well for you and are being rewarded, and to the measure that you're willing to perform for them to get them to happen. And this period is going to see your relationship on a very steady, stable ground. And despite the hard work you're doing, you're going to be content in whatever your situation is. And your time has been well spent leading up to this. And you're eventually going to achieve the success in certain things that you're putting your hand to, the things that you want to gain success at, the things that you want to reach goal. And by the way, this whole thing of reaching goals, isn't life about striving for our goals? Because you reach them and then you're like, okay, now what? You move on to the next thing, obviously. But you're going to reach the successes you're trying to get, and the projects will pay off for you. And reassuring news is wrapped up in this as well. It's going to be coming to you. It's going to help you realize that you're on the right path on certain things, to receive either the recognition you need, the material rewards that you need, that you're striving for. The card is talking about being destined for a major gain. And whether it's financial or emotional or personal, there are spiritual blessings that are waiting for you. And this is like, I always say, the angels are presenting, these aces are presenting open doors. It's like they walk you up to the door. And I always get a picture in my mind of being like in this beautiful garden or a forest, and they walk you up, and there's a door, a freestanding door, just standing there, the door frame. And they turn the doorknob and open it up, and there's a whole other world beyond what you're seeing around the door. And it's like they're saying, there it is. There's the open door. You have helped create the door. I've helped open it. There's the threshold. All you need to do is step across and into this new thing, and or the rewards or so on. And so it's really up to you to make the step. And so this represents prosperity. Financial gain is represented in this. Successful endeavors that end in the promotion of yourself, the promotion of your ideas, the promotion of really your situation, where you want to be. And it brings good luck. It's a card of good luck. It's a card of emotional stability. And it suggests a very positive future and being able to obtain that stuff through your goals. So this is more really a general card of where you are right now, of where you're going. Maybe a reassurance that you needed to know that you're on the right path, that you're doing things the right way, because things are going to work better, are going to work toward you being what you want to be and attaining those goals and getting there. And it's wrapped around around your material well-being. Now, when I say that, material well-being doesn't always mean a bigger paycheck of some sort. Sometimes material well-being is that all the nuts and bolts of life are coming together and working the way they're supposed to work. So when you see a card like that promises financial gain, the financial part of it, or the material part of it, might not be actual dollars and coins. It might be the atmosphere to make those things happen. It might be the good fortune, if you will, to make a good fortune. And it might very well just be the material aspects altogether, but it affects your bottom line, the nuts and bolts. That's why I say the material things of life when you're talking about the coins and the pentacles, that all has to do with the nuts and bolts of life that make life work and go, whether it's financial or all the things around the financial. So there you go. Hope that's helpful. And so, hold on one second here. Oh, all right. So I thought somebody was sending me something important I needed to look at. So I hope that helps. Reassurance in your direction, manifesting your reality away from oppression. There you go. There it is. There's a little bit of reassurance, huh? And I don't think that this should be taken as, let's just throw her a bone so she, feels better today. No, that's the card that dropped out of the deck, Teresa. And that's the card that is saying this is what's going on for you right now. Confirmation of where you are, what you're doing, where you're going. So, all right, Jared, let's get shuffled up for you. All right, here we go. Jared, do I see you in the chat room here? Or are you just talking to Audrey on the side? So, all right, Jared. Oh, there you are. Well, let's see what happens. We'll do a one-card reading and see what's going on with that one card. Very general, by the way. A one-card reading is giving you very generalized information about your situation, mostly because it's not digging in very deep. It's just something that represents where you are. Jared, I'm going to cut this deck on your behalf, and then we'll get your card as soon as we do that. Okay, come on now. It's fighting me. All right, here we go. All right, Jared, and your card is the Six of Cups. All right, take a good look at that. It's got a couple of children, and the goblets, the cups represent your passions. It can represent your romances, your relationships, your passions in life. And that's what this cup is. And this is, I always called this card the card of nostalgia. Okay? This is a card that says, right now you're either going through some things right now, or you're remembering things about your past, about what has brought you to where you are. And if you're not thinking about Jarnell, it's the idea that we are today, in the present, we are all comprised of our past, the things that have brought us here. And this is a card that has many times talked about the things of the past that we allow to control us in our present. And I'll put it this way. Let me use an example. Now, this isn't necessarily an example of where you are. It's an example. This is a card that says, it's like the person who is dating somebody, but then stops dating, right? Because, well, he's too much like that ex of mine who was abusive, when he's nothing like that person, but has the unfortunate position of being the next one in line. And so that woman is operating out of past pains as opposed to actual current ones. And starts treating, we've heard this before, don't treat me like that other guy. I'm not him. It's not who I am. That's a bit of what's wrapped up in this card. It's the allowing the past to dictate us in our present. It's a card that's deeply rooted in the past. That's why it's showing children here. And it's it's bound, a card that is very bound to our happiness, our current happiness. And it suggests that your family, your old friends, perhaps even past lovers, as the example was meant to kind of show, are in the process of adding greatly to the joys in your life, but also things that if you're not careful, you can let those things run your life. This card might refer to past efforts that you've put in, to labors of love, to personal projects, usually in an emotional sense rather than financial. But the past has brought you many rewarding experiences of love and successes, but don't linger too long on the past. Move forward with your achievements. The idea with this card is don't let the past keep its hold on you, whether it's good or bad. That's why I call it the nostalgic card. This is the card that says, you know how they say when you have bad things happen to you, that it sets modes of operation, abuses in the past, or things that happened to you when you were a kid, set the way that you are. And sometimes you have to realize that I'm doing and thinking the way I think because of that thing that happened to me in the past. But it's also the positive things do those things to us as well. They've made us who we are. But the idea with the card is the past is something you can be nostalgic about, but don't live there, don't dwell there. And I've used this example before, and some of you who are Star Trek fans will recognize this one. So I don't know, Jared, if you're a Star Trek fan, but there was, back when the series Deep Space Nine first came out, I wasn't a big follower of Deep Space Nine, but in the premiere episode, the captain of a starship who's now becoming the head of this space station, he's going through a spiritual experience, and he keeps getting brought back in his mind's eye to where his wife, who was also the captain of a starship, was killed in a battle. And it's sadness. It's ripped him apart. And he's being asked, where do you exist? And he says, I exist here in my life, my office, my career, and then it would flash back this scene with him seeing his wife dying on this starship and saying, if you exist there, why do you exist here? And in other words, it was contradicting him and saying, no, you don't exist in your present. You're existing here in your past where this trauma took place. And he had to come to the realization that he was living in his past, and he was letting his past dictate who he was. So the past, whether rewarding or damaging or so on, is something that we need to recognize and hang on to as far as this is what has brought me to where I am, but don't linger there too long or you'll get stuck there. You have to move on into your life. And so that's a message of this card, is saying have nostalgia for the past, meaning remembrances, learn the lessons, pat the scar and say, yeah, these things happen, but don't dwell there. Too many times we live there. I exist here. Well, then why do you exist here? So watch the things that perhaps, Jared, you have from your past that you are allowing to govern who you are today. Remember those things, but don't dwell there because you're in the now. And so you have to make the new things. The new things happen, the new relationships, the new strength, the new business, the new whatever it is. And this is a card of reconciling with the past and leaving the past where it belongs, back there. It might mean an apology or returning to the past to unlock the skeletons from your closet. That is a big factor in this. Sometimes we need to go back to the past to remember who we are and where we came from. Or why do I do the things I do? Why do I act the way I do? I have in my own past, my own things from my past, by way of example. And I have a huge aversion to being controlled. And I might even take something that isn't controlling behavior in somebody else and think I'm being controlled by something because that's from my past. And I have to go back there and unlock that and find out why I think that way. So sometimes there's skeletons in your closet to unlock. And this card is promising you, if you do this and if you leave that past there, if you unlock the skeletons and find out what you need to learn from the past, you can leave it there and move on. That's Rocky and I talk a lot about being aware of our past, but moving on from your past. We can all have hurts and stuff from our past or lessons learned from our past. You go back and you grab that information. Go, I got that now. Now I'm moving on forward. So there you are, Jared. I hope that yeah, I hate being controlled. So there you go, Jared. I hope that's helpful. I hope that applies to your situation in one form or another. That's just a single card. But it's saying, it's really the message is don't get trapped in your past. Go there when you have to learn things about yourself, but leave those things there and move on into your present. So I hope that was helpful. All right. And there you go. Okay. Anybody else? I got time for one or two more. So I wish you the best on that, Jared. Very helpful. Appreciate it. You're welcome, Jared. Hope it's helpful. Think about that. See how it applies to you is the other thing. Could be, maybe your past is full of happiness. You got great things going on. But sometimes all that happiness doesn't provide for where we're supposed to go next. It's something to look back on and say, okay, I've got that foundation. Let me move forward now. Or if there's something you have to deal with in the past or things that need to be unlocked, go there too, but leave them there and move on. All right. That's all that's about. All right, Steph, let's do a card for Steph. All right. Here we go. Did I not do Teresa's? Did I skip over Teresa somehow? Sorry about that, Teresa. I did Jared. So I'll do these three. We got Teresa and Missy and Steph. Okay, so Steph first. As I said, I do you first here. One more time for Steph. By the way, you all know I do this for a living too, so you can come over to my website, click on my tarot link, and get yourself a 5 or a 10 card reading, and we'll move from there. Schedule you up. All right, Steph, I'd have you cut the cards if you were here, so I'm doing this for you right now. Here we go. All right, Steph, got a King of Coins. It's the King of Coins. Again, kings, we already talked about kings today, and they represent specific people in your sphere of influence. And the King of Coins has to do with your financial well-being, your material well-being, material aspects of life. That's what this is all about. And coins, it's pentacles. It's the same thing. And so it's dealing with more your finances, your material well-being. It's the mature and dependable aspects of maturity is what this card stands for. And anyone represented by this card is tied to material successes and status of some sort. And while it might refer to your own characteristics in your own life, kings most often stand in for other people in your life who can aid you. Usually a male figure. Like I've mentioned, it's a dad, a grandfather, an uncle, a brother, a cousin, a boss, somebody like that, somebody you respect. And you can expect that this person is going to value prudence over prudence of intelligence. Let's put it that way. And it could be an event that's going to take place. It might be a financial windfall,
or a promotion of some kind. And with this, and the king could represent a boss or somebody's. Okay, maybe I will shut my door. I don't think we need to be yelling right now. All right. Kids. And so this is reliability, confidence, self-sufficiency. This is all about success and warmth and endless personal growth and all those great, wonderful, wooey things that are connected with it. And it's like attaining your goals. It's you have intrinsic abilities in the fields of the things that will profit you financially, materially, and even if you're not aware of them. And so you need to think this through. The money you earn through your own efforts are going to bring material gain to you. This guy represents either you showing the attributes of being on top of yourself financially, materially, making your material life work, or he's somebody you can consult, a professional, an elder, somebody that's going to help you out with the material aspects of your life. So this is really a card of saying either you are or somebody around you that's helping you is that person that represents the mature aspect of material aspects and nuts and bolts of your life. And it's somebody who's going to be able to help you out with that. It's the mature dependability that comes with it. So it's really not saying things are going well or bad for you. It's saying that you have the ability to make things turn the way you want them to turn, either through yourself and your own knowledge or the knowledge of somebody else that's going to be helping you out on those material aspects. Sugar daddy. There you go. Yeah. That is kind of the sugar daddy card sometimes. So there you go. No joking aside. So there it is. All right. Okay. Let's see. We had a couple of more lined up. Missy. And I did do one for Teresa. Okay. All right. I thought I did, Teresa. So you do enough of these in a row and you go, did I actually read you or did I read somebody else? All right. Missy, this one's for you. I'm going to shuffle up 3 times. Again, if you go over to my website, scottallenroberts.com, click on the tarot link near the top of the page, and you're going to see 2 PayPal buttons. You can click on one of those, get a 5-card or a 10-card reading, and go ahead and purchase one of those and get a hold of me, or it will alert me, and I'll get a hold of you, and we'll get you on the schedule. And when you start doing 5 and 10-card readings, you're going to get a lot more information, a lot more detail. All right, let's cut this for you, Missy. If you were here, I'd have you put your hand to the deck and cut it. All right, here's the card I have for you. I'm going to say right off the bat that this is one of the bleaker cards in the deck, but it's also a card of transformation. And you've got the 10 of Swords. Now look at that picture and tell me that you look at that and go, uh-oh, what's that mean? You got a guy laying on the road, 10 swords sticking out of his back, the dog there ready to lap up the blood, so to speak. So what does that card mean? The first thing to realize is that the man on the road is not dead. I always get the picture of Miracle Max, Billy Crystal playing Miracle Max from The Princess Bride. If you've never seen that movie, he's not dead. He's almost dead. That's the idea of the card. He's almost dead. He's gone through some rough times, obviously. 10 swords sticking out of his back. Swords, again, represent a conflict given to you, conflict you give. It can represent power and authority, but in this case, it doesn't. It represents conflict. And this is a card that's speaking to, for you, Missy, end of chapter. Chapter's done. Chapter's written. Period. It's done. And it's left you in this state. But the beauty of this is that you're not dead from it. It didn't kill you. It's leaving scars. Swords stuck in your back are going to leave scars. I've got a little scar right here, just from having a sword run into my arm like 15 years ago. Swords leave scars. And this is one of saying you heal from this, but at the same time, you are free to move over and start writing the new chapter, because you're all done with the old chapter. This is this can be a cause for a little bit of temerity, a little bit of fear, this card. And prepare yourself for what's coming is the idea with it. It represents disaster. But it also represents not just disaster, but a disaster that can't be avoided. It doesn't foretell not only just a complete failure in something, but an unavoidable complete failure in something. How's that for a nice Sunday morning pep talk? You're either in the midst of, have recently gone through, or are being prepared for a complete and utter failure in something that cannot be avoided. This isn't a fortune that can be changed. It's not bad luck that you can avoid. Only endured is the idea. You have to endure this. And if you stay strong, the whole idea is a new chapter. New dreams can be built from the ashes of something. And by coming to terms with something that is sometimes a very bitter reality for you. Now, I can think of lots of stark examples. I'm not saying this is your situation, but we have all been in places or know of people in places where there is that bitter realization that my relationship is coming to an end. I'm only using this by way of example, because this isn't speaking about relationship. It's speaking about event, which could be a relationship. But it's that kind of thing, that bitter realization that is on you. And that moment of recognition where you finally are sitting there and you go bing and you go, bitter realization time. Okay, I got to make a change. I got to do this no matter what it is. I'm not talking relationship. I was just using that as, I want to emphasize, using that as an example, although I don't know what your situation is. But it's the end of something that's very important to you is going to occur. And that's what this card is portending. So you have to be prepared. And I would say right now, Missy, to be prepared to deal with some consequences. If you're not already in the midst of this, you're going to recognize this very soon. Nothing in life is permanent. And sometimes there are things that happen to us that just about kill us. But we endure them. And we make our way through them for the purpose of, well, enduring, but for the outcome of a new direction being given to us. It's like the death card. Death is the end of the chapter, the beginning of something brand new. That's what this is. But this is dealing with the bitter aspect of what you're in. 10 swords in your back. It's beware following other people's opinions about what you should do. Everybody's got an opinion. Like my mom used to say, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. So watch the opinions you take from people. This might lead you to be aware from your own truth if you go your own direction, rather than listening to everybody's opinions about something. See the world through a pragmatic eyes right now. And that's going to balance your optimism. You have to be more pragmatic. You can't be sing-songy about this stuff or fall back on sing-songiness or platitudes or self-platitudes, sayings, memes, stuff like this. It's not what this stuff is about. It's about being pragmatic and real about what's happening. This is real. This is happening. Here's how I deal with it. Here's how I tend to my wounds. So this card really represents the sudden ending or this negative outcome of something that you put your endeavors into in life. Be it relationship, be it business, be it something else. It could mean failure, utter failure at something. Not that you are a failure, but that the thing is a failure. It could mean ruin. It could mean mortality, accompanied by depression, feelings of being broken. I'm broken. I got nothing left. Crushed by the weight of the world, by the weight of whatever is hitting you right now. It's harsh and negative. And I hate to be the harbinger of that kind of news, but that's what this card stands for. How you deal with this and how you come through this is up to you. It's leaving you, it's not telling you what direction you're going. It's not saying you're going into a positive new thing. It might be a negative new thing if you're not careful. So this is a thing of being aware of, and you probably already are aware of some kind of harsh thing you don't want to have to go through, and it's happening. But it's changing who you are. And you can take now this time to direct that into where you want to go. But you have to be realistic about it and be pragmatic about it. Don't go through this thing and wear your blinders. You go through this thing with open eyes. Remember, I find your argument to be highly illogical. That's pragmatism. Be pragmatic and realistic about what's going on. Be a little logical through this, even though it's hard to do when we're in the middle of something painful happening to us. So there you go. Missy, it's the first time I've read you, so I'm sorry. It feels like such a negative message. And it is. It's a negative thing. It's shitting. It's the shittiness of life hitting the fan is what this card is. And it's leaving you feel almost dead on the road. And there's going to be scars from it. Like I said, you don't get 10 swords in your back and pull them out and heal from them and not have scars left. So, but the direction you take after that, how you deal with this pragmatically right now in the now is going to determine how you end up. And the beauty of this is that you now will have a whole new chapter to write. So there you go. Life is raw, and you're right. So I hope that's helpful to you. I know it can be kind of tough information, but there it is. The cards, though, by the way, folks, can be very invasive, if you will. Like if I was gonna, let me tell you this, Missy. I've read your card, but if I was to do a full card reading, I would have taken 10 cards off the stack. If I look at the next card in here, I'm going to apply this to you as well, Missy. I pull the next card off the deck, and it's the Six of Swords, where you see a family, they're loaded in the boat, and they're heading out to God knows where. You see there's no front of the boat being shown. They're on the water. There's 6 swords sticking out of the deck, and way back here is where they're sailing from, the shoreline back there. And this is a card that says, the conflict is so great back there, that has grown so intolerable that you need to leave it behind and move out. It's a card of transitioning to something else. going somewhere else, moving somewhere else. It may mean physical move, it may mean mental move, emotional move, but it's getting out while the getting out is good. And it's leaving behind the things that no longer serve their purpose for you. This could be part of that card of 10 swords sticking out of your back. That you have to leave that stuff behind. So there you go. It's a nudge. There it is. All right. But it opens the door to go to some new place, new thing, start something new, be there. The pain is sometimes, even in knowing you've got the ability to do that, the pain isn't having to go through what it takes to get there. All right. So there you go. All right. Hey, Iowa, nice to see you. You're welcome, Missy. And I think there was one more up here, and I can't remember what the name was, whoever was next. Let me know who was next here. There was Missy, and then there was, and I can't remember who it was. And it's 11:11. Patch is last. Okay, here we go, Patch. This is for you. All right. Well, all right. It's a misshuffle in my book. It's the way it was supposed to be in the Universal book, I guess. There you go. Last one. And here we go. All right. Patch, if you were here, I would have you cut the deck. So let me do that for you. Restack it. Let's see what we got for you, Patch. All right, Patch, you got the 7 of Cups. And Cups is that suit of our passions, the things we pour ourselves into. Not just emotion, but passion. This deals with relationships and romances, if that's where it's heading. It could just mean the passions of life, the things that are passionate to us. You see a woman, she's holding up this sheet, and it's supposed to be representative of several different things. You see all the different things in these different cups that are on the sheet there. It's representing opportunities, different things, different directions, different places you could go. In a sense, this woman is holding up a sheet saying you got a bunch of opportunities to choose from right now. And that's kind of what it stands for. It's having opportunity. And it's this is a card, though, that's speaking to your inner self. It's trying to tell you something about your unconscious, your realm of imagination, your hopes, your dreams, your unrealized aspirations. They're all fair game right now. And it speaks of this deep confusion that you might have right now, brother. A lack of understanding of your true motivations by your conscious mind. And it's time to really look deeply and carefully at your own motivations in life. And you have to re-examine your goals. But it's also a risky time to act on your conclusions right now. So this is something that says you got to take a look at things really closely and how you're doing things. You've lost a lot of time. According to this card, you've lost a lot of time chasing the many conflicting interests in your life or the things that you need to do. Sometimes it's just things we need to do to survive. But we spend so much time chasing these things that you've lost time. It's like we used to say in ministry, if the devil can't make you bad, he'll make you busy. Meaning you might not do evil, you might not do bad things, but sometimes you're so busy you don't have time to do the good things or the right things. And this is a card that's saying, don't be misled by all the daydreams, all the fantasies. Pick a practical goal and work toward it. Practical goal. You're going to receive a surprising reward from this. And And it's if you put together your mental and your creative activities and make them work for you. The inability to decide is going to slow your progress in the future. If you can't decide which one of these areas, these things you want to do, you're going to be slowed down. But you've got options, is the idea here. You've got options. I had somebody in a discussion on social media about taxing the wealthy, I think was the whole thing. A bunch of people who are the have-nots in society complaining about those who have. And they're talking about, we should just tax the wealthy. And I came down on the side of saying, I don't think you should. Now, I'm not wealthy by any means, but I believe in the principle. You don't just tax somebody because they've made good money. You don't make them pay for everybody else. And somebody said, and I said, why should they? Why couldn't they just take their great wealth and retire to an island somewhere? Well, because they need to show the goodness of their heart and help others. I said, yes, but you can't mandate that for somebody. What if their happiness comes from spending it all on themselves? You might not like that, but you can't mandate that. And in this, somebody called me a young person. I felt it was a teenager, college age. Yeah, well, you were born with a silver platter offered up to you, and you don't. And I thought, that's the most laughable thing I've ever heard of. Any of you listening know me, know what that's about. And so that's this. There can be those misperceptions out there that you have something that was given to you, and you've been working on those things, and you have to pick this practical goal to get there. The perception of other people about who you are, where you are, what you come from doesn't matter. Your inability to decide is going to be the thing that holds you up. And like I told this young woman who said, I have a silver platter. I said, no, I don't. And I said, and if you don't have one, that doesn't mean you cannot decide to become what you want to become. You have to work hard at it, though. That was the whole point of that story, by the way. You have to work hard at it. And this is you, Patch. This is saying you have to work very hard. You don't have to be a young kid to realize this. You got to work very hard at getting to where you want to be. And so this card symbolizes confusing decisions, opportunities that are there, but lots of options. You've got to make the right choice. How do you choose between the options? It's wishful thinking, it's daydreaming, it's temptation that's due to the lack of morality sometimes, or having the moral base to make the right decision. So it's delusional ambitions. Poor choices are associated with this card. So choose wisely. Do not choose poorly. And it brings a definite feeling of pessimism and negativity. But at the same time, I've also seen this card as being optimistic in the sense that you have opportunities. So don't make the wrong choices, but make the choices based on what you know you have to do to get to where you want to be. That's what this is all about. And that's what this card is about. That's what your life needs to be about right now. Making the right choices. Rocky has to clean all the spilt tequila when I get home. I'll bet you do. So I'm sorry we couldn't be there last night, Rocky. We got in about 1 o'clock in the morning. Oh, I will add this, by the way, to my story for all of those of you who were here earlier. By the time we got up to my mother-in-law's to pick up my kids last night, about 11:30, the engine overheated, and it blew the radiator cord off and emptied out the contents of our radiator. And so where we thought at the moment it was going to be a disaster, it was just my father-in-law came out and he put the radiator hose back on. He says, good thing nothing's busted. He says, it's good. You're on firm. Let's just refill it. But so that happened to us last night. So we were hung up for about a half an hour, 45 minutes, running to the store and getting stuff. Hi, come over here. Awesomeness.
Who took my coffee creamer?
There was nothing in it. It was sitting out from yesterday.
It was not empty.
It was empty. Good morning. Say good morning to the
Good
lovely,
morning.
vivacious Rainy.
Some jerk drank my coffee creamer.
There was. I shook the bottle and there was nothing in it.
Yes, there
I had
was.
to use milk in mine.
No, there was coffee creamer.
I
in it
used
last
milk.
night. I
Well, you
know.
can go pull it out of the garbage.
It's not in the garbage. You left it on the counter.
So no, there was nothing in it. I got milk in mine.
Whatever. Lies. It's all lies.
All lies. All lies. So there you go. There's the good morning, Rainy.
I still got.
So-
my
Whoa,
eyes half
Rocky
crusted
says.
stuck. Yay!
Yeah.
I'm tired. It's up hard.
Yep.
What
Well, you
we
look
got?
good.
Good morning, Madfin. Who else has good morning?
I like
Good
your
morning,
shirt.
everybody. Yep. Thanks.
I like your shirt.
Thanks.
Sure.
It's my pretty shirt.
It sure is.
I wear it in the morning so I don't have to put a bra on.
I like that.
Go away, Rowan. Dad's still recording. Go away.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Well, now everybody's in here. All the children are in here.
And the dog.
So, and the dog. What you doing, Ellie?
Good morning,
okay.
Leslie.
I
Good
was just
morning,
finishing a reading for Patch. I was done,
Audrey. Oh,
Patch,
sorry.
by
Okay,
the way.
we're- okay.
but-
Sorry, Pat.
Scotty
I probably
Peak
cut it
says
short,
Rocky.
I'm sorry.
Is that one of these that like falls off the shoulder like all the way?
I don't
Like,
know.
that's
This
one of those
is this
things?
is something that one of my friends gave me in a bag of stuff. I just
Oh,
it's
cool.
I washed it. And it's
I
the
like
first
it. I like it. You're pink. I'm logical.
time. It's not pink. It's green.
It's gray.
It says Kinnip. Your camera's backwards.
Oh, Kinnip.
Kinnip.
What's it say underneath?
Oh.
1986. Pink. There you go.
Let Lucy.
Still doing the show.
Leave me
There we go. All right, folks.
Yeah.
So there's my beautiful wife
Yeah, I'm gonna go wait. Oh, here.
thinking I stole her creamer. There you
Like
go.
my morning hair. That's hot.
Oh, it's morning here. Hot. Hot.
Okay. I'm gonna go get my coffee.
All
with
right.
No creamer now.
Take this little monkey with you.
My monkey.
All right. Bye.
alone. Set me down.
I will set you down.
All right.
Let's get this toy.
There we go.
Whoa.
All right, Patch. Good deal.
Come on, Stinky.
I hope that was helpful. Yeah, you don't have to close that. I'm about done here. So
I feel like
shut up, Rocky.
Yo, what did Rocky say? What you saying, Rocky?
He's getting all
Where's his Scotty peaked? I see that.
Scotty peaked, and then there was.
Touch the tip. What the hell, Rocky? I'm mad at you. I saw the picture you posted to me.
What picture did he post to you?
It's some dorky picture. It wasn't like a hey, I'm taking a picture. It was like a snap. So I was all like,
Nice.
eh.
All right,
Okay.
my
go.
lovely wife.
okay, come on. My little puppy.
All right, folks. So we're gonna wrap it up here, and I want to thank you all for being here. And for those of you who got ratings, you like her shirt too, Rocky. I like her shirt too. That's the first time she's had that on. I like that. And so, yeah, who knows what kind of pictures Rocky posted. I'm going to have to go look now, see what she's talking about. So thanks, everybody, for being here. You have a nice day. I hope it's not going to be as humid today as it was yesterday. It didn't seem to be. And Twisted, thanks. Love you too, brother. And don't forget to check out Scotty's stuff on his page. There's my Etsy page that Audrey just put into the chat room. You can go check out the t-shirts and the hoodies and all the different coffee mugs like this one on Intrepid Radio and all of that. So you can go check that out online. I appreciate it. That always helps us a little bit. Puts a few coins in the jar, so to speak. And at that, I'm going to wish you a good Sunday. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Left Coast Time for the Intrepid Radio program. And, of course, 7 o'clock Central Time, which is 8 o'clock Eastern, the Situation Room with Scotty and Rocky. Rocky Stucci's Situation Room. So be there for those shows tomorrow night. We look forward to having you here. and help keep the lights on. Thank you very much. And I want to say thank you to Teresa and Leslie both this week for your contributions. I appreciate it. And at that, I'm going to say have a good day. Rainey, come over and tell everybody to have a good day. Yeah, you can't do that. Come over, Rainey, and say goodbye to everybody. Wish them a good day. Oh, she's coming from this side today. Right now.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. Even though Scotty drank my creamer.
Creamer stuck with sugar.
I used milk in my coffee. because
No,
I didn't
you
have
used my
left.
creamer. Scotty lies. He
There's
lies.
I tipped it over my cup
creamer.
and a drop came out. Let's put that. That's why I used milk in my
Drop.
coffee.
You don't know how to measure.
That's right. I don't know how to measure.
Yeah.
So thanks for being here, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
And you have a fun day.
Yeah, have a good day. Enjoy it.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. Go get some creamer.
All right, guys. Love you. Talk to you later. We'll see you tomorrow night. Bye-bye.